Hi, how's it in the name of Christ? How you doing? It's your girl Crancake Garabo. I hope you're good. I hope you're peachy. I hope you're Stella, and I hope you're in a neat little bunch. If you're not, welcome to the party. That's just not the story of our lives. So today is the 22nd of October, 2025, and it's a relatively okay day. So this is an say that again. It's an introductory video to these channels. I'm not really sure at this point how many of them I'm going to have, but as at right now I have 0. I've yet to create the channels, but then I'm probably gonna have a few. So I don't know how long it's gonna be, how many parts it's going to be, but I'm going to carry on as normal. Yeah, I'm just gonna carry on as normal from where it is that I come from. Just basically, let's just hop straight into this thing. I am in flight. I'm running away from a lot of stalking. I have 2 previous batches of YouTube channels from which I had to leave because of just a chunk of pursuit, chunk of stalking, chunk of crazy stuff, chunk of surveillance, chunk of random weird stuff. So I'm here to do an introductory video, and we will see how it goes as the Lord leads. Did I make mention of the date? It's the 22nd of October 2025, and yeah, 22nd of October. I tend to have a topic of the day, but I don't know, we're gonna do things differently going forward. I am just not really trying to do too many edits like I used to in my previous ministries. And speaking of which, when it comes to my old content, seeing as I'm carrying on from where I left off, I'm just carrying on from where I left off. I'm not going to lead. I have, okay, long story. First and foremost, I tend to have very long videos sharing my testimony, sharing what God is doing, sharing prophecy over multiple parts. I don't necessarily subscribe to the fad, if you will, of making sure that my videos under 10 minutes or under 15 minutes so as to pique people's interest, because I just share what God is trying to speak through me. And this I can't keep it succinct. I can't keep it in small little batches. Plus I am going through hell on earth. My life is rough, and so for those reasons I cannot afford to not be essentially very elaborate in the way that I communicate, because I cannot afford not to be exquisitely elaborate, because I'm sharing just a very persistent, gnarly, like exquisitely exorbitant plague or rebellion on the part of my nation, which is South Africa, and on the part of just there's a lot going on, and this is my ministry. So I am long winding, and I do elaborate quite a lot. I have very long videos, over hours I can speak, because the Lion of the tribe of Judah has roared. Who can but prophesy? So all I do is to share all that. So let me just get straight into the introduction as to what in the world is going on over here. Yeah, I am in flight. How can I table this to introduce? Imagine a woman that has an abusive ex-boyfriend, or an abusive ex-husband, or just an abusive stalker that she did not know, did not even give a chance, accommodate, did not date them, nothing. But they merely spotted her from like a distance, having been a neighbor or having been just somebody who frequented that area, and then made a decision that it's mine, I'm gonna take it. And so they then establish or develop a little bit of a rapey mindset concerning that woman, and then you end up essentially just being in flight from this person, or from these people, for the rest of your, not so much the rest of your life, but for as long as this individual or these individuals will be eradicated. So I am in flight from stalking, from stalkers, from crazy people. I've got 2 historical batches of YouTube channels, and the only reason why they're batches is because I had to start more than one at a time, where I was posting across multiple channels in order to not only flee the stalkers, but also deal with what would be the tenement of the South African deep state. For fear of sounding a little bit loco and insane, you're gonna have to watch my content if it is your interest from my old spaces, and therefore get the context. I am gonna be carrying on from where I left off. I cannot create a foundation or a baseline over here that is going to be in depth or too extreme or exquisite, because of the fact that there's literally too much to cover. I'm carrying on from where I left off, so the context or the history, you will have to check it out if you have interest, if you have intrigue. Otherwise, we're gonna go into this very topic, this very discussion, this today conversation, almost like you've been with me all these years, all these months. Because I've been on YouTube. I've been on YouTube for 10 years, and yet I've gotten nowhere this entire time because of the South African deep state, because of persecution, because of witchcraft, because of harassment, because of spiritual war, because of whatever. I am a Christian. This is a Christian ministry. If you clicked on me, likely it is because you are either a Christian or interested in the things of God, because my title is, and my thumbnail is Christian. And yeah, I'm undergoing quite a lot. Okay, there's quite a severity of sorrow encircling me, and my challenges are South African and global, and they're black. They afflict women, as I am a woman. They afflict in particular black women. They afflict black people. They afflict the world at large, just generally spiritual war. We're in the last days, perilous times are here. And I have not been able for the life of me, unfortunately, to reach whoever I needed to reach in order that they might be healed from the epidemic that I am in flight from. I've not been able to reach them because of persecution, malignment, because of banning, because of people standing in front of God's work. But I cannot stop doing God's work because people have an interest that I should stop or whatever. And I also cannot stop doing God's work because if I stop, I die. Because I'm just beleaguered by a lot of harassment. Okay, so we're going to be talking, and we're going to be talking today for literally hours. And by the time when we're done here, hopefully I will have given you a nice little groundwork. My ministry is largely for women, to enable women issues. But every so often I get guys listening to me. So it is what it is. All right, I'm suffering, like, quite violently. So when it comes to my old content, thanks to the fact that I am in flight, all right, the first ministries that I had, I transported them over to another space in order to flee stalkers, and they found me because that's just the nature of stalking. They used my description box and the information in my description box in order to essentially search and find me, and they found me because all I did was copy and paste. Because on YouTube, when you start a channel, you have an option to create upload defaults, basically information that is available across all your channels. That information is always available, not channels, sorry, but across all of your videos is the same. Like in your description box, you can have the same stuff, contact me here, this, that, and the other. Yeah, I did that, and I just copy and I pasted. Unfortunately for me, they were able to find me that way. It took me months to figure it out. Eventually I've left again, and I'm starting again from scratch. It's not like I'm gonna miss anything, because in the last place I was severely banned. I am not only, like, the reason why I'm even as badly abused as I am, listen, this is just like it's problematic. The reason why I'm even as badly harassed as I am by crazy guys, not every woman, and I'm gonna talk about that in this video, not every woman that is somewhat seemly or attractive, if you will amass for themselves this level of homicidal abuse on the part of men into random gender-based violence. It tends to be a certain kind of profile of a woman, and this is, like I said, my ministry is for women, pertaining women's issues in light of Jesus Christ, largely. But men listen to me, so it is what it is. Every so often, okay, when it comes to so therefore it is not necessarily all women that are somewhat attractive, if you will, that will amass for themselves that kind of crazy, like, just persistent, like a bad stain stalking that is not going to lift off your head. There are parameters, there are certain inputs that enter into a certain ecosystem that then make for just randomly abused, harassed women. And I'm trying to help women understand that you all need Jesus Christ, our Messiah, in order to escape 2025, to escape the last days, to escape the perilousness of crazy, as in diabolical, like hotly misogynistic men that feel entitled to women, or else. You cannot escape. I don't know how many times I can say that. You can't, not if you've got somebody who is determined for your body. You cannot escape without the spiritual protection that comes with Jesus Christ, not only spiritual but physical, and just the barriers to entry that the Lord will erect. He'll put up around you to make sure that no matter how hard people try, they cannot break walls down. But in and of yourself, you also need to be self-preserving, in that don't go out into the haunted space, because then you're going to get hurt. You need to learn to keep yourself incubated while also taking for granted the fact that God is going to have your back. And this is what this ministry is about. This is what this video is about, this introductory video, to help you, I guess, navigate what in the world is going on, what I'm talking about right now. Like I said, hang with me, I can speak for hours. So ultimately, you're going to get a nice, juicy conversation pertaining what in the world this woman is even talking about. But in the beginning, I might be kind of meandering and long-winding, but if you hang with me, you'll get it, okay? I come from an old space, so therefore, when it comes to stuff, like in the description box, when it comes to information in my description box, I no longer am going to be, for the sake of eradicating stalking. For the case of eradicating stalking, I'm not going to, it's like, you know, right now, like the Holy Spirit it just dumped into my spirit the word scent. Because these men are animals, like picking up a scent. Like that's where it is that my prey is at. And so they just pounce information in my description box is like a scent. Do you understand? To these like predators, these monsters. And it's sad and unfortunate. But anyway, whatever. We're gonna just discuss over here. So I don't put information in my description box anymore. Therefore, the way that you are going to be able to find my old ministry, because if I put a link that goes back to my old ministries, or if I put a link that links to my website that they have access to, anywhere at all that I have frequented, they will search using that link and find my YouTube channel, no matter how long it takes for them, seeing as I'm as badly shadow banned everywhere where I go as I am. Scroll down until they finally find it. So while the regular Jane and the regular Joe on the street is not going to have the energy nor the time to just scroll down until you find a severely shadow banned channel down there in the search engine. When you search on YouTube, a stalker will literally stake out that space and keep scrolling for 2 hours until they finally find my content. And now I've got a CI, like a corporate identity, if you will. My thumbnails, if you've been with me for any period of time, you will easily spot them. That's Garabo's thumbnail. I've got a corporate identity. My thumbnails look the same across all my my videos. I have a particular way of doing thumbnails. The one that you likely saw upon clicking on this video is a thumbnail that like proper, you're gonna keep seeing thumbnails just like this. Only thing that changes is the information inside the thumbnail. Maybe the colors might shift around a little bit, but that's generally my CI. So it would be easy for somebody to see that that's my channel. There are, you know how there are some content creators whose thumbnails you can just spot from a mile away, like Brylan Riggs. You can spot his thumbnails from a mile away. Benny Johnson, you can spot his thumbnails from a mile away. Saint AVS, you can spot his thumbnails from a mile away because they're all pretty much the same, just changing up words. They use the same font, the same, what do you call this? Colors and what have you. So yeah, these people, just like anybody that you follow on YouTube, would know to find me through my thumbnails. I don't have it in me, neither do I think it's necessary for me to change my thumbnail shape or my thumbnail design, because why? It's just basically, I need to make myself near basically impossible to search, okay? Because I am in danger. Y'all, I am literally in danger. The last video that I posted in both ministries, because I moved away from not so much channels, but 2 batches of channels on which I was posting the same content, with an exit video in both places, and in both exit videos, both of which were series. The one was 15 parts long, the other 6 parts long. The latter was 6 parts long, while the former was 15 parts long. I was literally saying that I'm leaving because I'm shaking off crazy men in particular, but also in some instances just witchy women that are surveilling me, monitoring, making sure that I go nowhere. Yeah, but largely men, okay? I'm shaking them. It's ridiculous. It's terribly ridiculous that a woman has to flee so very, very much. My first ever batch of YouTube channels, the longest one, or the one that was around for the longest amount of time, was 10 years old. I left it because, listen, I would end up dead. The most recent one was either a year or just under a year old, and I had to leave because of an error that I made, which I hope and pray to the Lord, seeing as he's the one that showed me that this is the error of my ways. Nobody, like these crazy monstrosities, are not going to be able to find me, right? So when it comes to my old content, it is important that people be able to access it. So I am no longer going to be putting my old videos in the description box, my old ministry, because it can be searched and found. I will be putting it, however, in, what do you call this thing, like an end screen. In my series, these videos that I'm doing, I've got end screens in the last section. So this is part 1 of however many, right? The last part there will be an end screen leading you to my old ministry. And on that end screen, if you click on it, you will then be able to navigate your way to my old ministry. And from my old ministry, you will be able to navigate your way to my even older ministry. You'll be able to go to my first ever batch of YouTube channels to get that content. If you want the context, so like, Papa, you don't have to. You can just kind of carry on from here, like with me. I'm carrying on from where I left off. You can just carry on as normal. You don't have to just labor. But Papa, I come from a lot of abuse, like a lot of abuse. And if you want that context and that information is just as edifying, you're gonna have to go there. Plus, my content will at some point one day in the future be watched by quite a lot of people across all my ministries, like as in the old ones are left behind, including these. So I guess be the first to watch if you wanna. If you be the first to watch if you wanna, otherwise you don't gotta. Okay, but however, if you have a curiosity within your bones, you can go to if you want to find my old ministry, and maybe even listen to my exit video where I'm lamenting about this nonsense and trash in the Black community and defeatism and people just throwing people under the bus, out on a limb, just a lot of psychological issues, a lot of spiritual issues, I just rap on. You can go and watch it if you want. But you're gonna have to go to my last part of this series, and then at the end of that last part, there will be an end screen there that will lead you to my old ministry's last video. Then once you're in that old ministry's last video, once you click on it, you're in the old ministry, and you can just basically just check out the abuse. You can then just check out the abuse. Listen, you can check out the abuse, because you will see my content is relatively good quality. It's good quality. It's edifying. It's very, very spiritual. Basically spiritual issues, like lots and lots and lots of demonic abuse, lots and lots of demonic attack, lots and lots of spiritual war. And you will see the abuse, because while there's all that good content, short and long form, I literally have no one watching. Like, it's eerie. It's like a ghost town. It's kind of ghostly. It's kind of like a haunting, if you will. It's like a haunted mansion. My ministries are like haunted mansions, where it is that I post some pretty excellently edited shorts at a time, like 84 at a go, like 60 at a go, like 90 at a go, like 48 at a go, and there will be no new subscribers and no one even watching at all, never mind new subscribers. Like 0.000000000 views for months. No, my darlings, not because I'm bewitched. I am a Christian. I'm a child of the living God. I am a daughter of the living God, and I pray all day long in tongues. I am always fasting. Long story short, I'm a spiritual beast. So therefore, when it comes to spiritual hindrances, things like monitoring spirits, whatever that even means, things like demonic recommendations, things like death curses, whatever, I pray, and these things just break. They break. They are brittle, like hair that has undergone heat damage. Just brittle, okay? Spells don't catch, they don't sit on me. So therefore, what I'm undergoing at YouTube is physical sabotage. It's actual people, and I lament about that in my ministry, where there is a moderator that works at YouTube, a woman in particular, that I gave the name Madimabe. No, that's God. I gave her the name Matlakala. That is South African Matswana language for dirt, trash, dustbin. But God gave her the name Madimabe, and Madimabe means bad blood, right? The Lord's name for her is Madimabe. My name for her is Matlakala. So really, you can interchange them as you desire. That woman has been paid handsomely, lots and lots of bribes by some crazy people in the South African deep state. It is a South African syndicate. It has nothing to do with America. It has nothing to do with YouTube itself. YouTube has no clue what in the world is going on in this country and how they're using social media platforms to harass South Africans in particular from South Africa in order to proliferate their agenda in the government that's very, very nefarious. That's why I'm saying the South African deep state is all up in my grill, crawling up my skirt like a bad man, all right? That's what's going on. And this woman is like some kind of a monitor for the occult. She's very heavily satanically oppressed, not oppressed, she's possessed in the worst way, and she is working for some diabolical monsters. Do you understand what I'm saying? And they have been paying her, they supplement her salary. I am a 41-year-old woman. Do not, like, again, you know, listen, my story's long. You're gonna have to go and check out my content. I look young, I know, but I'm 41, and I've been in a very dire strait, if you will, in dire straits, in a very bad situation for 11 years. Ever since I was 29 years old, I've been suffocating, running from South African witchcraft, South African darkness. I have basically recorded my story. I have tabulated my trials. I'm like Anne Frank in Germany during the Holocaust. I am documenting my daily existence in a Holocaust, but as opposed to it being a Jewish Holocaust, it's a Christian Holocaust in this country. And my YouTube, or rather let me just say social media just in general, has been the diary of Anne Frank or Karabo Sizakele Hlongwane. But of course, I am, unlike Anne Frank, not gonna die, and the diary get found post-mortem. I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna live, because that's the thing that I am trying to perpetually proliferate in my content. I'm trying to promulgate the reality of the fact that everybody else falls apart unless you're in Christ. Just like it's written in Psalm 91. 1,000 may fall at your side, 10,000 at your right hand, but it does not come near you. So my Anne Frank diary, right? Tanamount equivalent is on YouTube largely, but I have got pockets of it on TikTok. I've got pockets of it on Facebook, pockets of it on Instagram, pockets of it on strange other platforms where I gave up. I have pockets of it in a blog, a WordPress website, pockets that I've been recording over the past, listen to this, 11 years to no avail. I need to open. Okie dokie, I opened for my cat and now we're good. Okay, yeah, this is such a cute dress. I mean, just look at that. Anyway, whatever, listen, pockets of it are all over, littered across social media. I can't really say that I gave up. Maybe I did, right? Perhaps the right word is give up, but I didn't give up. I concentrated my efforts. I realized that seeing as this life, listen, yo, hey, I keep repeating myself, okay? You're gonna have to go to my old ministry, but there is just like a very gnarly syndicate operating in this country that has every vested interest in eradicating Christianity from the country. That is South Africa. And it is rooted in South African deep state involving South African politicians, involving South African heads, bosses in the private sector, in the entertainment industry and media. Celebrities are involved in this thing. And anybody at all that is a whistleblower against it is literally smothered and silenced. So your God makes people whistleblowers, is what I'm trying to help you understand. And so information that is done in secret, you know how it's written in God's word. God is going to give it to you and you're going to shout it on a rooftop. And ever since I rocked up on YouTube, basically just sharing understanding pertaining this thing prophetically as the Lord has given it to me. I have been banned from the moment I rocked up on YouTube. I lost everything. I lost my whole career. In 2014 was when I was entered into this crazy situation. I am not going to give the history of where I come from, because like I said, I'm carrying on from where I left off. If you want information and context as to where I come from and the deep history in this Anne Frank, like, concentration camp, if you will, that I am in. Anne Frank, I don't believe ever made it to a concentration camp. She was hidden by a Jew sympathizer in a house. Her and her family, and then they got found and got killed. But if you want the context as the entire history, if you want information more, you're gonna have to go historically. But this here video is an introductory video, and I'm also here to just kind of edify women as to how in the world to escape crazy, never mind gender-based violence. But you see, my country is rife with a myriad of issues, many political problems, many socio-economic, socio-political issues. And byproducts that always just pop out of these issues are things like gender-based violence. And that has been one of the biggest afflictors of my person. Like, I'm a very serious human being that has been given a prophetic gifting by God. And with that gifting, I come here and I share it and I prophesy. But unfortunately, when you are a beautiful woman that has been kind of abused, harassed because of whatever it is that might be the initial thing that you were abused and harassed for, then people are gonna over and above it not only look at you as a person prophesying, people are gonna look at you over and above not only being a threat pertaining the prophecies you share, but given that you're a woman and you're still beautiful and you're still viable and you're unmarried and all that jazz, they will then also just literally just try to rape you. They will just try to take you. So I've got like a double whammy issue where it is that I am prophesying over the deep state in this country, and the men that are involved in these cults and these secret societies literally are trying to rip off my clothes. Some of them want to marry me. Some of them want to make me a side chick. They're hard knock occult practitioners that are literally running South Africa into the ground, sending it to the dogs, feeding it to the cows as fodder. But the person sharing these things, one of them, just so happens to be a very gorgeous woman. And so for those reasons, I am now apparently, allegedly up for the consumption as that very fodder that I spoke about above. Okay, yeah, with that being my thing, therefore, I talk a lot on gender-based violence. I talk a lot on rape. I talk a lot on spiritual abuse. I talk a lot on forced marriage. I talk a lot on all of these other things because, like I said, they're a byproduct of a woman being left out on a limb, whether or not the message on your tongue is about the hard knock, incredible, incendiary, deep state of your country that is satanic, it is occultic, it is full of magic, it is full of sabotage, it is full of crazy cancers, okay, that are just metastasizing across the body, having made a person essentially with only 3 days to live or whatever. Yeah, I'm a combination of very many things, and in order to get that context, you're going to have to go to my old ministry. But today I am I'm addressing the 1,000 that fall on our side, 10,000 that falls on our right hand, the GBV, the essentially byproduct of the corruption in this country that is gender-based violence. Today I'm focusing on that because that is right now the most traumatizing thing that has come at me, more even than people trying to shut me up because really you don't want to get the crazy little government officials of this country exposed. Like, even more than that, the thing that's traumatized me most is just the rape culture, just the fact that men have imagined that, listen, don't take yourself too seriously, don't get too deep, don't get too intense. Like, come on, I can buy you a house, come on, I can get you some ice cream, come on, I can get you flowers, come on, I can buy you jewelry, come on. Yeah, I find them all very disgusting. And what they don't get is that, listen, you are a small little pin drop in the ocean. Your mindset is just incredibly myopic. Like, you think in a very granular, microscopic fashion and are unable to see the bigger picture. I'm not here for any of that. I'm not even lamenting so much that I don't have a husband yet or whatever. I am lamenting that you're evil as a nation and you are dying as a country, but all you want to do is have sex. Yeah, it's a double whammy. But at the same time, I kind of had to be a woman, because if I was a man, I would have been long ago martyred. I would have been killed. I would have been Charlie Kirked if I was a man. Somebody would have sent for me proper, like a sniper or whatever. I had to be this thing. I had to be like Jael in the Bible, a woman that a king, an army commander, a military commander would run to the tent of trusting that he's safe in that presence, and then she just kind of drives a tent peg into his brain. And kills him, and so therefore being instrumental in winning a war for the Israelites. I had to be like Jael, that lady in the Bible that killed that crazy army commander, Sisera or whatever. Who are they fighting in order to take what city? Listen, I stand corrected as to the details. I'm like that. You're also gonna come to learn that I'm kind of airy-fairy every so often about particular details, but largely I'm unbiblical. In fact, I'm biblical, period. Yeah. I'm like that woman. It had to be a woman. It had to be a woman. It had to be a black woman, because my government, the country that I come from, is black. And the issues that I'm endured under are black issues. And men had to also feel like I'm grabbable, I'm takeable, I'm wantable. I also had to be enduring a black grain, in the sense that the defeatism within the black community had to be a thing around my life in order that these issues might indeed come to the forefront and surface. But my survival to date for 11 chunky years is hinged on the fact that I am a woman, a black woman. They underestimated the enemy in their camp precisely because I'm not only a woman, I'm a beautiful woman, and they just thought that they can butter me up with like presents, gifts, kisses, promises of marriage, and I will shut up. They kept me alive. Listen, because I'm a woman. They didn't think I was too much of a threat. Yes, they've been coming at me with death curses remotely, but they would never invest in the risk of an investigation and fingerprints being dusted for of a physical assassination, because it's just too risky. Plus, we'll get to her. We'll eventually eliminate her. I had to not only be a woman, I had to be this thing. Very girly, very colorful. As you can see in my ministry, I've likely got stickers here, butterflies or hearts all over the show. I've got scripture doing a thing over here, very colorful. I look like a child. My ministry is creative like that of a child. And yet I speak very, very haughty issues. I'm creative. So of course there's going to be lots and lots of color in my life. And I had to be that thing in order for these people to listen, essentially just kind of keep me alive, because they would be of the imagination that I'm non-threatening until it becomes clear that I'm the bane of their existence. Just like Jael in the Bible, I had to look like the kind of woman that would easily just grab a proposal from a guy that is happy to shack her up in the house and give her a very big kitchen with an island in the center so she can make her puff pastry. I had to look like I would be happy to receive that insofar as I get tired enough with dark circles, big enough, grooved into my sockets enough being my eyes. I had to gaunt enough insofar as I would have been endured through enough trauma, too much, and enough trouble, enough pain, then maybe I will just receive some millionaire guy out to offering me a house because I'm clearly tired. I had to look like I would take that offer up until it became clear that, listen, she's not moving. she's a stubborn stain. But by the time they would discover that, listen, what in the world are we dealing with over here? It would be too late. They would be essentially dying. They would be passing away. There would be a gargantuan earthquake just kind of rumbling in the corner. It would be evident that I was the bane of their existence. I would have to be pretty monstrous, like gargantuan, huge, chunky, by the time they realize what in the world I am. And so just like in the movie Terminator, they would want to go back, turn the hands of time and silence me, pacify me, put a dummy in my mouth to shut me up, or even just neutralize me. They're gonna wish they had earlier, very early. As soon as I rocked up here and I started to speak stuff, they're gonna wish that they had essentially done something about me and what it is that I represent a lot earlier. So that's the beauty and the glory of Jesus Christ, of God. He takes the weak things of the world to shame the strong and the foolish things of the world to shame the wise. So in returning, then there is a woman at YouTube that they have paid, not just at YouTube, this rabbit hole, it goes very deep. It spirals and spirals and spirals like a snake up a tree across social media. Listen, it's the South African deep state. It is harassing content creators on TikTok. It's harassing content creators on YouTube. It's harassing content creators on Facebook, on Instagram. Think of a social media platform, they're there. I also try to go to Rumble. Believe it or not, you know how Rumble is this like place for, what do you call this thing? They claim to be all up in freedom of expression, but they don't censor too much. They got me even there. Even there, they've got somebody moderating, like proper. They paid someone at Rumble to make sure that after growing for a season, I just stopped growing. So after a season, like I said earlier, it's not so much that I gave up. It's not that I gave up. I just concentrated my efforts in one place, because my content, there are volumes of it, copious amounts of it, and I would be exasperated. I would be flattened on the floor like a pancake or whatever if I kept posting everywhere. If I kept posting everywhere, I would have been exasperated. It would have been too onerous. It would have been too taxing. So I chose a social media platform that's easy to post on. On YouTube, you can just batch upload and sleep overnight, and your content is online the next morning when you wake up. On YouTube, there is the interface for editing the studio is a lot easier to work with than any other social media platform that I find. On other social media platforms, you have to load, if you're going to like your title on YouTube, when you upload a video with a certain title, especially from your PC, it uploads with that title. It doesn't change it. It doesn't call it something else. It doesn't call it video 1 of 3. It doesn't, so you can just basically do everything on your computer and upload on YouTube, and it's largely exactly what it is that you planned. All you need to tweak up are just a few details and then publish. Plus, like I said, the editing interface, the YouTube Studio is a lot easier. It's easiest to work on than any other social media. And I like that you can batch upload. 15 videos at a time. You can batch upload, and I've got volumes of content, and so I figure, and again, not only is it just ergonomically better to work on YouTube, logistically it's just better, it also is the biggest social media platform in the world. It's the biggest one. It is the most poignant. It is the most reaching. It is the most popular, the most famous. So I figured it's got the easiest interface on which to work. It enables less fatigue of edits. Like there's less pain in my bones to have to upload on YouTube. Given that I'm not going to get viewed, there's less pain in my bones. So let me go to the least painful in my bones space to work on. And it is the biggest, like I said, social media platform on the planet. So I chose YouTube. I concentrated it on YouTube. I used to enjoy posting on Facebook when I was growing, but I stopped growing, so it was just not worth it. Especially with long form videos on Facebook, you can't do batch uploads on Facebook and uniquely and individually after they all are uploaded have them be one video at a time. Plus, Facebook is largely the place to be for photographs more than videos. So I just, and my content is largely video. I also could have gone to my blog and written over there. I used to write volumes upon volumes of content per day, but I got blocked even on WordPress. So when nobody's watching content, when you type a long article and then you edit it and then you post and nobody watches, it's very, very taxing. It's easier to talk over here and I then have software. It's easier to talk over here and then have software automatically remove my silences. So that's an automatic edit. Plus, when you have got ums and ahs and essentially grammatical errors in your conversation, it's not so taxing. It's not as taxing as it will be to actually read an article with grammatical errors. So editing here is, for me, largely automated. I just create one template and then run all my content through it, all my parts through it in a video. But with written work, you have to edit to make sure that it's decent enough for people to read without basically losing interest in you and not taking you too seriously, because it's just, there's so many spelling mistakes and there's so many grammatical errors. So I stopped writing as well, because I'm not going to invest all that editing, all that first draft, all that second drafting, all that third drafting, only for me to go nowhere. So I stopped writing. For now, it has been maybe like 3 years since I wrote in my blog. I also stopped posting everywhere else because of just the logistical nightmare of posting on other social media platforms. As soon as they banned me, before I was banned, I was happy to edit for hours after writing an article and then publishing it on WordPress. I was happy on my website to do that because I had views. Do you understand what I'm saying? I was also happy to upload one video at a time on Facebook back when I was growing, but I got up to 1,000 followers and then suddenly I just stopped growing and my shorts stopped going anywhere. I stopped getting direct messages from followers, from interested parties, from those who want a fellowship with me. It just went dead. It went ghost. And so because it went ghost, I was like, okay. I tried to post on other Facebook, like I basically created, like on YouTube, new Facebook accounts, new pages. I created new pages and from the very beginning, without even going anywhere, they stopped me from growing. And the situation is so bad that I used to work out. I stopped because lots and lots of persecution. Okay, but where I used to do my fitness, I had a different page for fitness versus ministry. Even there, it stopped, even though it had nothing to do with ministry, because what they're trying to block is my ability to make money, to have any kind of a life at all, to earn a living. They didn't want me growing, and they've been trying to marry me off to one of their crazy men. Or kill me, whatever. They've just been busy. Okay, so I stopped. I didn't stop working out because they came, because my exercise was important for my body. I didn't stop exercising because they banned me on my exercise channels. I just stopped working out because I was literally that abused. I was that beleaguered. I was enduring that much spiritual war, and it got too taxing for me to keep on working out. So for a year, I've been sedentary. For a year, I've been I've been sedentary. I haven't been working out, but by the grace of God, I've been maintained in my weight largely. Every so often, I feel like even my rings don't fit, but I've been largely maintained. It's God's grace, nothing but. But also, in all fairness, I also fast pretty much every day of my life. I only eat one meal a day, except for the odd occasion where I will have muesli or strawberries, but like in the morning for breakfast. But largely I'm fasted because my life, it's a spiritual war, like 24 hours a day. Okay, yeah, okay, cool beans and banana. So I stopped posting on Facebook. I stopped posting on TikTok. TikTok, I was growing handsomely. And when I got to 300 meager followers, didn't take very long for TikTok to harass me proper. Listen, this is not TikTok. It's the South African deep state that has God. This is what I'm trying to explain to you guys. So let's use YouTube. It's an American platform made by Americans, but it got big one day. It got really big. And when your company gets crazy big as a sole proprietor, at some point you gotta go public, right? At some point if not public, you gotta outsource. You gotta get sell off portions of your brand to subsidiaries. You have to outsource call centers, moderators to other nations, because it just gets it becomes too much of an administrative nightmare to keep it in-house. So you basically branch off and you create departments, if you will, divorced from your head offices, but they still are part of the overarching company. Yeah, YouTube got big, and so because it got big, it could not keep moderation in America. It could not keep across all our countries, so they decided that they're going to open little offices, yes, across the world in different countries, to moderate in those countries, in particular the content creators of those countries. And in South Africa there is a branch. In Africa, across many African countries, there are branches, if you will, of YouTube. And YouTube is not like a company that sells off a portion of itself to be administrated by other places. It just outsourced, it delegated, it did not sell off. So essentially, when it comes to rights to the company's CI and what the company is trying to do or achieve, they still belong to the original owner. They still belong to America, but America has outsourced its services to other nations because it was too much of an administrative task to keep it all in-house, given that it's a global video library full of everybody across the planet doing a thing on it. Moderation is an onerous task. If at all you have ever worked that job, I haven't, but I once listened to, I'm sorry, I once listened to, not a documentary, but I guess you could call it, it wasn't a documentary, man, just, it was this one channel, like, I forgot what it's called, but this one guy was being interviewed who, it's like a conspiracy channel, not even a conspiracy channel, but a life experience channel, like a channel that tells people's ominous stories that come from certain spaces. Like, I used to be an OnlyFans model, and then they would like cloak her face, and then she would tell her story about how it is that she got these kinds of clients, and one time there was a president of a country that was out here chatting her up or whatever. But like she's all shrouded. Yeah, a channel like that, I don't know what it's called, I forgot it, like some American channel that brings people on their platform to basically share stories about their professions, where it is that they worked. And one particular guy that went on there was a guy that used to be a social media moderator, and he in particular was a Facebook moderator, and he spoke about how he had literal PTSD, post-traumatic stress, from being a moderator because of just the horrendous stuff that he had to moderate, stuff that he had to block, things that he saw, people killing themselves, committing suicide online. Like, he had to basically work to stop all that. People, you know, threatening bomb attacks. Yeah. Not every person that moderators moderate is just basically working in what YouTube calls community guideline breakage or misinformation, medical misinformation. You spoke smack about COVID-19, and so that's why we have to strike you. Some things that people moderate are just dastardly, like as in murders online. Yeah, but this guy was a Facebook moderator, and he spoke about how he used to work shifts in that there had to be somebody manning these moderating desks 24 hours a day, because people are posting on these platforms 24 hours a day, and you have to catch something fast, quick, like, because before you publish a post on YouTube, before you make it live on Facebook or wherever, you first have to publish it, right? You have the prerogative to make it live. It stays sort of kind of in draft mode before it goes live, and moderators have to like catch this before a person can say publish, before a person can say make it public, like let the world see what's going on. So they have to catch random people committing crimes online before they can even publish, and they don't always get to them on time, but they do have big enough teams and 24-hour, they have big enough teams and 24-hour available teams to essentially catch most of these gnarly random things that want to go online before they go public. And largely it's men that moderate, like people, human beings that moderate, but sometimes it is artificial intelligence that can tell from just I don't know, it's bots or whatever, that okay, this is a nude person, this is a whatever person, okay, this is a murder, this is a what, and so it'll be flagged for moderators to look at it. But largely when stuff is not immediately flagged as bebo by AI in the moderating space, it involves people themselves combing through the content even after it has gone public. Because the AI bots did not find issues. It's just from the robotic space, from artificial intelligence, they did not find any issues, and so they allow a video, once a content creator says publish, let it go and be shared by the world, with the world. And so it lingers online for like a few hours. And a lot of times with medical information, misinformation, you will find that your content might linger for like 5 hours or 6 hours, and then only you get a strike or an age restriction or whatever after the act, because it's not so heinous, so as to make sure that, listen, this person can't even publish, they can't even go public, like at all, right? Yeah, that's what the AI bots are there for, type establishment thing. But like I said, the ones that linger for like 5 hours, it is the actual combing by actual moderators that make a decision that no, we can't just let this stay online, so they give you a community guideline strike or whatever, but you know that you're a terrorist, like proper, you're out here doing jihad online or whatever, when just as you upload content, already your whole channel is deleted because you're either killing a person online, or you are, what do you call this, like doing porn on YouTube. Then or even on Facebook. And this guy was speaking about how it is that some of the stuff that he saw gave him PTSD, because he had to be like Speedy Gonzalez, just like run, make sure that this guy doesn't even press publish, that it doesn't even get online for even 5 seconds. Like, it cannot be shared. Stop it before. And yeah, but he was shrouded behind something. He quit his job because he just couldn't anymore work in the moderating space type establishment thing. And I listened to him out of curiosity. And where after listening to him, I remember thinking, so these are the guys that come at us with strikes and whatnot. Yeah, but I understood when I listened to his testimony why moderation was necessary, why it was important. I understood after listening to him, because yes, why in the world are you posting porn on YouTube or on Facebook? Go to a XXX site if you want to see stuff like. So I basically understood where he was coming from. But you see, that's just the nature of jobs or creativity, innovation. A lot of times it's done for what is considered to be the greater good, right? The initial thought behind why you're innovating this thing in the bones of a man, insofar as they're even willing to go public with this innovation, tends to be beneficial for the human race, something that can improve the human race. But human beings are evil. The Bible says that the human heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? So given that human beings are evil, depraved from birth, we are just born dead in trespasses and sins, and in sins did our parents conceive us. Given that that's who we is and who we be, who we are, just generally, we go and we grab things that are good, that are right, that are wholesome, that are acceptable and presentable, and we just malign them to fit our purpose, and then we become despots, we become fascists, we become abusive, we become devastating, we basically become catatonic with no consciences, walking around like mindless drones, and then we start to afflict ever so violently. And the people on the ground can't now complain because, after all, this here is there for the better good, right? For the greater good. Moderation is important for Facebook. Moderation is important for YouTube. Moderation is important for Instagram. Somebody gotta make sure that nobody be out putting their porn on there. But you've got evil human beings working for these places that know that not everybody is going to be placing an ISIS beheading online. Some people are just walking in their inalienable constitutional right, according to their country, to be free in their expression, to basically share fully clothed, not naked, and with not even any profanity on their tongue. Because there came a time when YouTube was actually moderating based on F words and S words and whatnot. So you don't even swear, but you have not only an opinion, but a religious dogma on your tongue. And that then gets moderated to death. That then gets moderated to obscurity. And unfortunately, you're not only moderated in that your content is there flying like a bird, soaring in the sky like an eagle for 5 hours, and then all of a sudden, there is a blockage, a stop, because a human being realizes that AI did not catch that this is medical misinformation, or that this is whatever it is that might be a community guideline strike. So you as a human being pounce on it like an orangutan because you realize that, oh, this wasn't supposed to publish in the first place and it's been here for much too long, so now scrap it. A human being does not realize that. No, they're just now making a decision to moderate you into obscurity, not because you're saying strange stuff online, but because you're saying stuff that your nation's government doesn't want you saying. And the stuff that you are saying is not even all that heavily and hotly regulated, even by your government, evidencing essentially shoddy, underhanded, deep state, secondary activity happening in the back end in a shadow government that has just gone rogue on another country's systems. After watching that gentleman's expose on what happens in the deep dungeons of moderators' lives, I guess kind of knew what in the world that was, and it reminded me of when I used to work as an administrator for a telecommunications company in this crazy country called South Africa, called MTN. I was an administrator at some point in the early stages of my career, and we also were somewhat like moderators in the sense that we too could block a person or enable a person on the systems, proliferate a person, or stop them from their projects, accessing their dashboards. I was within project management, not moderating, but administrating the dashboards of project managers, giving them rights, permissions, opening them up, closing them up. When the new one would start working, I would then give them permissions in their dashboard once their projects had been allocated, etc. I had big powers. Like the Incredible Hulk, I had massive powers to essentially either make or break a project manager's life. I could sabotage in the back end if I wanted to, but I couldn't because I would get fired for that. The permissions were given me in order to do my job. but everywhere where a grander good, a greater good, a thing that is necessary to indeed be done. Because like within the project management space where I was working, indeed the IT department could indeed just make a decision that if insofar as on the system we recognize your personality as a project manager, you have got access to projects, all of them, just be lazy and be like, all project managers, you have access to the dashboard, all of it. So every day you're going to have to, you know, click on the filter to find your own project, or scroll down, find your project and edit in there. But I mean, a project manager could, right, if they wanted, just one day go inside their colleague's project and start doing whatever in there and sabotaging, messing up, destroying. So no, it doesn't help to be lazy as IT, to just give all project managers access to the dashboard and you guys will figure yourselves out. Please just make sure that you choose your own projects to edit on. Project managers, choose only your projects to edit on there. Gentlemen and ladies, okay, don't do strange stuff on other people's projects, and trust that that's a thing. A project manager that is not given a unique personality to only work on their allocated projects could wreak havoc, could one day perhaps maybe mistakenly edit on somebody else's project, or deliberately by sabotage just be messing with somebody else's work. Okay, so of course then IT, given that they're a department on their own, they've got a whole bunch of workload on their own chests and on their own shoulders. They would then I guess train the trainer, delegate to us the administrators how to basically in the back end working on their systems that they administrate and where they allot personalities, give us then permissions to within our unique departments allocate projects to unique project managers, so that they can only, when they log onto the system, all they have access to are their 5 projects, all they have access to are their 4 projects or whatever, right? That's what it is that you do. So then if as Karabo, you then make a decision that, listen, like, I'm feeling nicely anarchic today. I'm feeling nicely rebellious. And I am going to, because I am sick and tired of every single time a new project manager starts, I have to go through the process of giving them rights and giving them new projects and making sure that I, you know, like proper. Listen, all project managers in the department, all project managers within this business unit. This is the dashboard link, okay? Find your project. If I decide that I'm going to be lazy, listen, I'm getting fired. Listen, there is a disciplinary hearing en route. Listen, my boss is going to be like, listen, you clearly don't like your salary, Karabo. I can see that that's a thing, right? That's what's going on. You don't like your salary. So I'm gonna get someone that actually wants to do their job, that is happy to administrate, no matter how onerous it might be a task, no matter how boring you might consider it to be. Karabo. I'm gonna get somebody that's going to be happy to differentiate allocations of projects on the dashboard in the back end to unique project managers based on my mandate. You don't want to do it, so bye. Karabo, goodbye. Listen, you're fired. Goodbye. You are no longer working for this organization. Give me your access card and security. Grab this gnarly anarchist all up in my grill. I don't want to see it ever again, because it's not even a her. It's an it. Yeah. My boss would be in right standing to basically just kind of get me fired and stuff, right? That's a whole thing. So when I listened to that testimony of that guy that was a moderator at Facebook, and then later, as times would progress, months would progress, and I would then get moderated into obscurity,